The world doesn't owe you anything. It doesn't owe you a single thing. But I used to believe that the world did owe me things. When I was in my 20s, I used to think that, even in my teens, I used to believe that if I were to work hard enough, if I were to work hard on something, to get a degree in a university, or to work 40-hour plus a week, that I would deserve something, that the world needs to give me something. But then I learned really quickly that that's not the case. And the lesson came to me when I was in my mid-20s, when I was dating this girl, and we were dating for a couple of years. And I would think that, you know what, I'm putting in so much of my time to this girl. I'm giving away so much of my time. I'm always taking her out to restaurants and stuff like that, and paying for her meals and all that stuff. So I thought that I would deserve love and affection, and that she would be loyal to me. But then, guess what? That did not happen. And that's just one lesson of many other things that have happened in my life, where I realized that, you know what, sometimes you don't get what you think you deserve. Sometimes you don't get shit. You just get the short end of the stick sometimes. I've also noticed that, for example, when I'm at work, when I work really hard, when I'm working 12-hour shifts, or when I'm giving exceptional customer service, because I used to work at a hotel as a front desk agent, right? I would just go above and beyond. I would physically take the guests luggage up to their room. I would converse with them. I would provide them with coupons and discounts for the restaurant. I would do all of these things to go above and beyond, but I rarely ever got praised for it. But I thought that I would get praised for it, and I thought that I would get a raise for it. Guess what? That didn't happen. That never happened. But I put in so much of my time and effort into be the best, to be exceptional and to do that. But sometimes I realize in life, if you work really hard, sometimes you don't get the results. You don't get the results that you wanted. And sometimes you just keep doing what you gotta do for yourself, not for others. Sometimes that's the case. And I would, for example, I would go to the gym as well. I would go to the gym consistently, 5-6 days a week. And I would expect results, right? At the beginning, when I first started working out, the first couple of years, I was like, yo, I'm working out consistently, 1 hour, 2 hours a day for 5-6 times a week, but I'm still not getting stronger. I'm still not getting that big mass in my chest or the big arms. You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, what the hell is this? I thought that if I were to work hard enough, that if I put in the blood, sweat, and tears in the gym, that I would get results. Turns out in the first couple of years, I did get a little bit of results, but not as much as I thought I would. And I realized that I had expectations for a lot of things in my life. I expected a certain result, and when I didn't get that certain result, I felt disappointed in myself. I felt angry at the world, because I expected something from them for what I put out. But sometimes, man, that's not the case in the world. You could be so kind to people, you could be so generous to people, but sometimes you may not even get that in return, But that doesn't mean you should stop being kind. That doesn't mean you should stop being generous. That's just the reality of the world. If you see a homeless person and he's struggling, and you give him food, he doesn't thank you, he doesn't even look at you, he doesn't acknowledge you, don't take that personally. You're still helping that person. You should still feel good about yourself for helping that person. Or you do a favor for a friend, but maybe you didn't get the right thank you that you wanted, Maybe he didn't truly, genuinely thank you. Maybe he didn't take you out to lunch and pay for your lunch because you helped him move into his apartment. Maybe you didn't, but you expected, in the back of your mind, you expected that you would get some sort of thank you or some sort of energy from him that equals to yours, what you put out for him or her. But you didn't get it. And now you're angry at yourself, and now you're looking at him as, maybe he doesn't really appreciate what I did for him, or shit like that. You start overthinking shit, but that may not always be the case. Maybe he or she does appreciate what you did for them, but they didn't know how to show it. That could also be the case as well. But I think it all just comes down to your expectations, man. I think the less expectations you have, the better. Life should always be a surprise to you. You should always, in fact, life should also not even be full of surprises. You should just, whatever that comes to you, it comes to you. Whatever the results are, let it come to you and accept it. But don't think about what the results will be. You studied all-nighters for a whole week for this exam, and then you did the test, and you thought that you did so well, and then you get the results, and you got a C+. You know what I mean? And now you're feeling really angry and frustrated with yourself. Yo, what the fuck? I expected to get at least a B+ or an A-. I ended up getting a C. What the hell is all this about? I studied my ass off. While the other guy next to me, you only studied for about 6 hours, and you ended up getting an A. But guess what? Throughout that entire process of you working hard, you were gaining discipline. You learned how to stay focused on one task. So you didn't truly lose, but in the back of your mind, you let a grade or a letter determine your worth. But you forgot that you developed a skill of focusing on a certain task, and you putting in that hard work, to try to get a certain result. So you forgot about the process because you were so focused on the destination. You forgot about the journey, but you were only focused on the destination, which is the results. And that concept could go with every aspect of your life as well. As I said in the beginning of this video about being in a relationship with somebody, you may be the best boyfriend, the best girlfriend, the best husband, the best wife in the world, but then you don't get the same in return. And then you start questioning yourself, is this relationship worth it? Does he or she truly appreciate what I was doing for them? Maybe yes, maybe no. That's up to you to decide. But we have so many expectations on certain things that we do in our life, and we expect the world to give us all this shit in return, And I think this mentality comes from how we were raised too. Our parents have constantly rewarded us. Our teachers have constantly rewarded us. Oh, you got a 70% on a test. Here's a sticker. Oh, you were able to get a blood test without crying. Well, I'm gonna buy you a new bicycle, son. A lot of us have been bred this way since we were children, that because our parents shower us with love, they shower us with gifts. Whether we win or lose, we're always given some sort of prize or some sort of reward from them. And then when we get older, we get this mentality that the world owes us shit. That we're entitled to certain things. Because we've been entitled our whole life. We've been given shit our whole life without actually deserving it. Sometimes that's the case. So in our mind, we get programmed in our head that we deserve, every time we give out, that we deserve something in return. But I think the beauty, the greatest beauty and the greatest reward comes from shit you don't expect. When you don't expect results, when you just do shit out of the bottom of your goodness of your own heart. You're kind just for the heck of it. Just to satisfy, just to make yourself feel good about yourself, or just to, if you're a believer of God, to satisfy God. And you're doing it for only those reasons, you will go far in life. You know, you will be happier as well. You know, stop expecting stuff from the world, because sometimes you don't get what you want, and the world doesn't owe you anything. You gotta go out there and get what you believe you deserve. And sometimes it could go both ways. You may get it or you may not. You may succeed or you may fail. But you gotta keep going. That's just part of life, man. You know? But anyways, thank you for watching.